So, if you want to knock out your competition and become a striking sensation, here's the secret to unleashing your fighting potential. Number one, clinching and striking. Clinching and striking may seem like two different worlds, but what if I told you that wrestling can actually improve your striking game? It's true. By learning to control and dominate your opponent in the clinch, you can set up powerful strikes that will leave them reeling. Number two, footwork and movement. Wrestling emphasizes explosive footwork, which is essential for striking. By developing quick and powerful footwork, you can rapidly close the distance and create space. And with wrestling's focus on angulation and positioning, you'll be able to create angles that will leave your opponents struggling to keep up. Number three, physical conditioning. Wrestling is an intense physical activity that improves endurance and stamina, essential attributes for striking. By building your core strength and stability through wrestling, you'll be able to generate power in your strikes that will knock your opponents off their feet. Number four, mental toughness. Wrestling teaches you to be resilient and adaptable, essential qualities for striking. By developing a strong mindset through wrestling, you'll be able to stay focused and composed during fights, even in the face of adversity. The next tip, by mastering the art of wrestling, you'll develop the ability to seamlessly transition between striking and grappling, catching your opponents off guard and leaving them struggling to keep up with your unpredictable pace. Number 12. Wrestling emphasis on explosive strength and power will enable you to generate devastating knockout blows, making you a formidable force in the striking world. Number 13. The mental toughness and resilience you'll develop through wrestling will allow you to push through exhaustion and pain, giving you the edge you need to outlast and outmaneuver your opponents in the later rounds. Number 14. Wrestling's focus on controlling and dominate your opponent will translate perfectly to striking, where you'll be able to use your superior positioning and footwork to set up lightning quick combination and takedowns. Number 15. By incorporating wrestling drills and exercises into your training routine, you'll improve your flexibility, agility, and overall athleticism, making you a formidable and dynamic striker. 16. Wrestling will teach you how to effectively use your opponent's momentum against them, allowing you to generate powerful counterattacks and takedowns that will leave your opponents reeling. The physical conditioning and endurance you'll develop through wrestling will enable you to maintain a blistering pace throughout your fights, wearing down your opponents and setting yourself up for a dominant victory. Number 18. By learning to defend against takedowns and submissions, you'll develop the ability to anticipate and counter your opponent's attacks, making you a more elusive and unpredictable striker. Number 19. Wrestling's emphasis on proper body position and alignment will translate perfectly to striking, where you'll be able to use superior positioning to generate powerful strikes and avoid taking damage. Number 20. The confidence and swagger you'll develop through wrestling will carry over perfectly to striking, where you'll be able to intimidate and overwhelm your opponents with your aggression and dominant fighting style. All right, the next tip. By mastering wrestling concepts of penetration and rotation, you develop the ability to seamlessly close the distance and create devastating striking opportunities. Wrestling's emphasis on grip fighting and hand position will translate perfectly to striking, where you'll be able to use your superior grip and hand placement to control and dominate your opponents. Now, the next tip. The explosive power and speed you'll develop through wrestling will enable you to generate lightning, quick combinations, and knockouts, making you a formidable force in the striking world. And the next tip. By learning to defend against wrestling's high percentage takedowns, you'll develop the ability to anticipate and counter your opponent's most common striking attacks. Next tip, wrestling's focus on body awareness and spatial recognition will translate perfectly to striking, where you'll be able to use your superior body positioning to create striking opportunities and avoid taking damage. Back to the mental toughness. The mental toughness and resilience you'll develop through wrestling will enable you to push through exhaustion and pain, giving you the edge you need to outlast and outmaneuver your opponents in the later rounds. By incorporating wrestling's chain wrestling concepts into your striking training, you'll develop the ability to seamlessly transition between striking and grappling, catching your opponents off guard and leave them